Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Monday, and that means tonight was Monday Night Raw. Tonight's Monday Night Raw, I thought was pretty good. I didn't think there was anything, like, I wouldn't say it was like a super good show or anything, but I would also say that I don't think there was anything bad on this show. Also, I got a new camera, so I now have to look up at the camera instead of straight down. I'm gonna have to fix that here soon. So if you guys see me like looking like this throughout this show, I'm still getting used to the new camera I got, as you guys can see. But with that, someone who's still here with us, he's not new anymore. It's Luke. Luke, what's going on?
What's going on, everybody? I hope you all are doing well. And I thought Monday Night Raw was also like pretty interesting. Like a lot of like questions to be answered still. Like the ending really came out of nowhere, but we'll talk about that later. And
Mm-hmm.
what's the secret that Miz is hiding?
Right. But no, I'll just say right now, shocked to see Nikki Cross. Not in a way of like, oh my God, Nikki Cross, what is she doing here? More of like, okay, so Nikki Cross comes out and she helps Bayley, but then immediately attacks me. Like, what the hell? Are we getting another, like, I don't even know. We'll talk about it when we get to it, but I got so many like, what the hell? What the hell? Like, I'll just say right now, is she gonna start another women's group or something? Is she gonna join Damage Control? Is she gonna join Bianca? I don't. We'll get to it when we get to it. But there's a lot of things that I liked about this show. And with that, I want to say thank you if you're watching live, twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited. Also, if you're watching or listening later, whether that's youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited or podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. I also want to say, wait, someone said to bring up my volume or Luke's volume, K Ballard. Might be, I could bring Luke's up a little because mine's almost too high. I can almost not raise mine anymore. We'll raise Luke. K Ballard said, Luke, we can barely hear you. It's on my end. He sounded loud to me in my ear, but if he sounds low to you guys, I can turn him back up. So we're all good. Thank you for letting me know that, K Ballard. But with that, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can help us out either by subscribing with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. And remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. And also, it doesn't even have to just be your Amazon Prime account. It can be anybody's Amazon Prime account, whether that's your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your grandma, your grandpa, your auntie, your uncle, anybody. With that, you get early access to news, early access to podcast episodes, early access to... Nope, that's the wrong thing. You get... My bad, I confused the two things. With Amazon Prime, you get free games, you get free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Now, if you hit the join button on YouTube, you get early access to news, early access to podcast episodes, early access to non-news videos, and so much more. Also, remember to head over to the Epic Games Store. Whoop, click the wrong button. Click the wrong button. Head over to the Epic Games Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying one of the old games, whether you're claiming the free games or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, Fall Guys, or Rumbleverse. Use our code right down here, PW Unlimited at checkout on all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. So with that, we've got Raw to talk about that kicked off with Judgment Day. And I'm just going to say, oh boy, Rhea Ripley freaking out there scoop slamming Luke Gallows. I did not see that one coming at all. But they're, in a weird way, making Rhea Ripley seem like a force to be reckoned with, but not like, oh, Rhea, she can beat up anybody. Now she's going to go for the women's title. No, she just wants to keep fighting the men, which is kind of weird, if I do say so myself. But Judgment Day cut a promo before the upcoming match. Rhea Ripley said that AJ Styles found out what the idiot fans should already know, that Judgment Day runs Raw and Dominic Mysterio was all man. Finn Balor called it an all-time great match that he and AJ had, and said the Styles fell to the legend Dominic. Damian Priest then demanded that the crowd rise, and he kept going, "Oh, rise, 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 rise," and yeah, they wouldn't, because it was, at first he said he thought the crowd was going to chant with him, I believe, when he said, "All rise for," and he goes like this, and the crowd is dead. And I bet you he thought they were going to say the Judgment Day. All rise for the Judgment Day. And they didn't. And he kind of like looks around and he just goes, "All rise, all rise, all rise." And I'm like, oh, okay. He goes, "Rise for the greatest luchador in history, Dominic Mysterio." Dominic then spoke as the crowd booed over him. Dom said that he was built differently. And Rhea said, quote, "Yeah, you are." Dom first called himself this generation's Eddie Guerrero, before saying that Eddie was actually his generation's Dominic Mysterio, and the crowd booed at that. AJ, Gallows, and Anderson would all come out. Styles told Dom, "Shut up." He said North Carolina knew great wrestling when they saw it, and Dom wasn't it. Styles said that Dom belonged to the generation of James Ellsworth. And my first thought was, didn't James Ellsworth beat AJ once, though? So, yeah, that's on point. Dominic beat AJ once. Ellsworth beat AJ once. Okay, I can see it. Styles said that
Ellsworth beat.
Go for
I
it.
think Ellsworth beat AJ like 3 times or
I'm
maybe
gonna-
twice.
I'm going to look it up right now. I remember at least one on SmackDown. I'm looking it up right now because now, let's see. James Ellsworth matches. Cage match is one of the greatest resources you'll ever have in pro wrestling. I'm just going to say that right now. All right, here we go. James Ellsworth. Nope, those are his Oscar matches. James Ellsworth against Becky Lynch. Here we go. Ellsworth beat AJ in that's the one I was thinking of, the ladder match. He beat AJ in the ladder match. And then that was in December 20th, 2016. Then James Ellsworth technically defeated AJ Styles with the World Championship on the line, but it was a DQ. So title didn't change hands. And you're right, it's 3. The week before the DQ finish, Ambrose, Moxley, whatever you want to call him, was the referee. And James Ellsworth, again, defeated AJ Styles. So, yes, it was 3. Jesus Christ. The good old days, as some may say. 2016. Going forward, Balor and Styles. Or Balor said Styles was hiding behind a group that, well, he created. And everybody who joined the group after him is just living off his name. Anderson told him, "Stop the talking, so I can show everybody in this building that I'm the toughest man in the room," or the building, or something like that. He then said, "No more talking, let's fight. Clear the ring, let's go." The ring cleared, and the match started, and then went to break like 30 seconds in. But the match itself, Finn Balor versus Carl Anderson, went over 17 minutes. I was surprised it went that long. And I mean, it was a good match, I would say, more towards the second half of the match. Not saying the first half of the match was bad, but it was more of, they knew they were going long, so they were a little slow to start, so they didn't like blow themselves up before they actually got all the real good stuff in late. So moving forward with this match, they went to, like I said, a break about 30 seconds in. After the break, Anderson hit a spine buster for a 2. Anderson also hit a running sit-out powerbomb immediately following. He did a sit-out powerbomb for a 2. Balor then came back with a headlock elbow drop for a 2 of his own. Anderson flew off the ropes moments later with a neck breaker for a near fall. Balor came back with a sling blade and a shotgun dropkick, but Anderson tripped him off the top rope, followed it up with a superplex. Dominic then got on the apron, so Styles yanked him off. Priest wiped out Styles before Gallows took out Priest. Ripley would then push Gallows into the ring post before giving him a huge scoop slam where the crowd went wild. Crowd popped big for Rhea slamming Luke Gallows. And what would you say? You think Luke Gallows is 300 pounds?
I honestly don't know. He don't really look 300 pounds though.
Because Kevin Patrick was like, Rhea Ripley just slammed a 300-pound man. According to his Wikipedia, whenever this was last updated, it was 290. I thought maybe he was like 275. Either way, that's still Rhea slamming him. Crazy. Because he's what, 6'8"? And she's probably my height, 5'10", 5'11". Let's see. She is 5'7". Oh, she's shorter than I thought. According to her Wikipedia, though, that's never, it's not like 100% accurate, but still. She slammed him. Crowd went wild. And they made sure immediately right after show another replay. Anderson then got Balor on his shoulders, but Ripley gave him a low blow as Dom distracted the referee. Balor then crawled onto Anderson and pinned him to pick up the victory. Like I said, started slow, but then it built and built and built and built and built. It got to where it needed to go. So I think it started slow on purpose because they knew they were going over 17 minutes.
Yeah, it was a decent match. So now next week, I would assume they do Damian Priest versus Luke Gallows.
That would make a lot of sense. The two big guys.
The only two that haven't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Johnny Gargano and The Miz had an argument backstage. Gargano was still pressuring him to tell the truth. Miz said he wasn't hiding anything and planned to go to the ring and set the record straight. Gargano was like, okay, well, I'm happy to hear it. Then they showed clips of Styles hanging out with NASCAR driver Corey LaJoy. LaJoy was then shown in the front row downing a beer. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was also shown in the crowd and got a big ovation from the fans there in Charlotte, North Carolina. Basically, the hub of NASCAR. Basically, 98% of teams are all based out of Charlotte or the surrounding Charlotte areas. So, really cool to see both of them there. Surprised they actually didn't have more drivers there. And if they did, I'm surprised they didn't show them. Then we had the Miz Gargano segment, which turned into comedy, but in a good way, because we've seen Gargano be serious on the main roster. We've seen Gargano wrestle really, really, really well, like we know on the main roster. But we finally got to see some of his comedy that we saw during his last stint of NXT when he did the stuff with The Way and he was super funny and entertaining. We saw some of that tonight and I loved it. Especially the stuff with him and Truth was hilarious. So Miz entered and he told us the truth by simply running down recent events with Dexter Lumis, who he would never call Dexter Lumis, just he who shall not be named. He noted that he was kidnapped from his tag team partner Tommaso Ciampa, who we have not seen in weeks. Miz also mentioned being taken by Lumis and waking up in precarious situations that he doesn't want to speak about. Miz pleaded with everyone to tell him if they'd seen his best friend Ciampa. Gargano would then interrupt. He said Ciampa wasn't missing, and in fact, he texted Ciampa a few minutes ago. Ciampa was just injured. So I wonder if that's a real injury or not, and that's why Ciampa's been out. Because that would be an interesting way to announce it. Gargano implored Miz, just tell the truth. Tell the real truth, or else I'll blow this whistle. The crowd encouraged Gargano blow the whistle. They started, blow the whistle, blow the whistle. Miz then said he was telling the truth and kept saying, I'm telling the truth, 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 until, well, R-Truth would make his way out to the ring. Truth did his entire entrance, like the whole 2-3 minute entrance with full song and everything. Truth then got into the ring and goes, all right, Miz, what do you want to tell me? Miz is like, I said I'm going to tell the truth. He's like, yeah, I'm the real truth. Truth. Tell me what? And Johnny Gargano started laughing and found this very comical, which I did as well. Miz said, Truth must be losing it after eating some of this bad food from North Carolina. And that's when Truth started to get a little offensive because, well, they're in his hometown. He goes, don't talk bad about my hometown's mac and cheese. Truth then said, you want to talk bad about our mac and cheese? How about we fight about it right now? Miz is like, I ain't having no match. No. And he goes, he looks at Gargano. Truth does. He's like, oh, okay. Yep, I see it now. Tiny little balls have been deflated. Miz is like, excuse me? He's like, well, maybe he just doesn't have any balls. And they both started making jokes about Miz's balls, and they jinxed each other by saying stuff at the same time. And they're like, you can't handle the truth. And then Miz is like, you know what? Screw it. We'll have a match right now. And the match went almost 3 minutes. I found this very entertaining. Super funny. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I mean, at first I was a little like blindsided, like what the heck is Truth doing out here?
Yeah.
But at first I thought it was a little weird, but then it got really funny and I enjoyed it.
So Sin Saturday in the Twitch chat says, what does mac and cheese have to do with this whole thing? Miz literally said to Truth, he said, you must be losing it after eating this bad North Carolina food. So apparently, in his hometown, his favorite thing to go get is mac and cheese. Because Truth is from North Carolina. So that's what the whole mac and cheese thing was. Miz made the line of bad North Carolina food. We had the match that went just a little over 2.5 minutes. Truth did his usual stuff, his homage to his childhood favorite wrestler, John Cena. Miz broke him up in a comeback. Miz cut him off with an attempt at the yes kicks and a Bryan Danielson style running knee. Then a man in a hood appeared behind commentary, who Miz thought was Loomis. Miz started freaking out. Truth then grabbed him for a schoolboy and pinned him 1, 2, 3. The hooded man then revealed himself as none other than Johnny Gargano. I mean, you can't really say much about the match. It went 2.5 minutes. They each did like 3 or 4, maybe 5 moves, and that was it. Kept it short, and that's all it really needed to be.
I have really just one question. Like, what the heck is like the whistle have to do? Is Johnny gonna like blow and he's gonna summon Dexter Loomis?
That's what I was wondering. Well, I don't understand the whistle. I thought it was going to be like what I thought the whistle was going to be, which it didn't end up being. Miz says, I'm going to tell the truth. And whenever Miz doesn't and he tries to make something else up, I thought Johnny would like whistle and go, no, you're lying, and like cut him off with the whistle. And Miz is like, fine. And then he'd, no, you're lying again. When I thought that's what the whistle was going to be, to like stop him in mid-lie and go, nope, tell the truth. But I don't know. I don't know where the whistle comes in. Because he said something about it. Go for it.
I could totally just see him just blowing the whistle, then Dexter Loomis just pops out of nowhere.
Right?
That'd be freaking hilarious.
But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, when they were backstage right before Johnny bumped into JBL and Corbin, didn't he mention something about the whistle again? Maybe not.
I don't think so.
Maybe I just saw him wearing it and he was like had it in his hand or something. Yeah, because I didn't write anything in my notes about it. But maybe I was just thinking something that didn't actually happen. As we move forward, Kathy Kelly was doing a sit-down interview with Candice LeRae. LeRae talked about all the changes in her and Johnny's life over the last year. She mentioned the support that she was getting from wrestlers like Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Bianca Belair, and others as she went from being in NXT to expanding her family and now being on the main roster. Damage Control would then interrupt and send Kathy Kelly away. Bayley basically tried to intimidate Candice, who wouldn't back down. LeRae said that she has learned that, well, Io is still untrustworthy and Dakota is still very spiteful. And Bayley, well, Bayley's just not the champion. And that pissed off Bayley when she said that. Bayley then told her that they were still in control of the division. Bayley then shoved the cameraman down and they all put the boots to Candice, who apparently they said later was hurt. We didn't see the beatdown. We heard the beatdown. Oh, this is all right. And it was just a good way to basically take out Candice so she can't help Bianca later. We got Elias in the back. He's walking around before he reaches Matt Riddle. Riddle's over there banging his drums. He's got some bongos. Elias called himself a serious musician who hated being interrupted, but he liked Riddle and knew that Riddle and Ezekiel became friends, so he can't be too mad at Riddle for interrupting him last week. This is when they were interrupted, though, by Chad Gable and Otis. Gable said that, what, you got some stupid band name like Blink 180? Shush! He noted that Elias played the keyboard last week and wondered if Kazoo would be next. He said Elias should shave the beard so he can go back to pretending to be that moron Ezekiel. Elias warned him not to talk about his younger brother that way. Gable warned him, oh, you want to come at me? Well, Otis is bigger than you. And he ate a bigger piece of crap than you for breakfast. Riddle responded with a line from Happy Gilmore, and Corey Graves made a point to let us know that was a Happy Gilmore line. I didn't write the line down, though. I don't know exactly what Riddle said, but I heard Corey Graves when he's like, oh, that was a line from Happy Gilmore. Seth Rollins was shown entering for the upcoming match. It was Austin Theory versus Mustafa Ali. Seth joined commentary as everybody sang Seth's song. So this match itself went 12 minutes. And not much happened before the break that was like 3 minutes in. They decided to take a mid-match selfie, so Ali then drop-kicked him and made his comeback, which included a rolling neckbreaker for a 2 and a tornado DDT as well. Ali went for another DDT after missing a 450 splash, but Theory countered it into a neckbreaker. Seth also had to let us know that Theory used to be one of his disciples, and so Theory has learned some stuff from him. Rollins then encouraged Theory, finish him now, hit him with the backstabber. Ali went to the top rope, but Rollins distracted the ref. The extra time allowed Theory to trip Ali off the ropes. Theory then hit his finisher and got the pin for the victory. So Seth helps Theory pick up the win. Rollins himself then raised Theory's hand. So this is weird. Are they going to try and pair Seth and Austin back up together?
That's a good question. I don't think so. I would assume this is probably just a one-time thing.
Probably. It was just, to me, it was weird how hard they went on it with the whole, he used to be one of my disciples. I think he's really good. I trained him. I taught him things. And then Seth raising his hand. Maybe it's nothing and I'm just looking too much into it.
I honestly totally forgot that Austin Theory was one of his disciples.
Yeah, it was after basically, so he came to the main roster. He was put with Zelina and Angel in them. That didn't work out. So then they stuck him with Murphy and Seth for a couple of weeks. It wasn't even, I don't even think it was more than like a month or two at that.
The thing I gotta ask is, what do you think of Mustafa Ali's like new ring gear? I saw a picture of him wearing it during a live event.
I mean, it's just shorts,
Yeah.
to be honest. I like the color scheme he had tonight. The dark blue and almost goldish. I thought the color scheme was pretty cool. And I like how he's changed up the hair. He's got the braids now instead of just keeping it all long. So I like the change. I do like the change. Magnolor says it was Andrade, Zelina, and Angel. Yes, I forgot Andrade. And Cincinnati says Ollie, new music and new gear. So I've said this in the past. Half the time I don't pay attention to music for wrestlers' entrances because I'm not paying attention during the entrance. So if he's got new music, honestly, I didn't know what his old music was.
It's literally just a remix of his old theme song. I
Gotcha.
don't think it's really anything much.
So, just to note, 3 matches, all distraction finishes. You would think Vince was booking this show. So after the match, Rollins would attack Ali and beat him down. Threw him out of the ring. Ali tried to get up. He threw him over into the timekeeper's area. Ali would try to get up. Seth would then throw him into the crowd. And oh boy, there was like this area of stairs and like a wall that separated the floor seats from the first set of riser seats. And Seth threw Ali into this wall, and Ali did not brace himself and just went boom, head first right into this wall. No, like, putting the hands in front or nothing. He just took that straight to the dome, and it sounded loud. Holy crap. Hopefully he's okay, which I assume because he came back and was fighting later. So Seth beats him down. Seth starts yelling for security. Get this bum out of here. Get this guy out of here. Blah, blah, blah. Seth goes to walk out, and Ali attacks him on the stage. Seth goes to throw him into the big old video board, but Ali reverses it and throws Seth into the video board as well. Officials finally run out. They hold Ali back, and Seth runs to the backstage area. Kid Vicious says, Mustafa Ali had another theme song that had rap in it. Again, I would not know because I couldn't ever tell you what his theme song was before. So we're in the back, and we see the Miz and Gargano, and Miz is trying to say something to Gargano, and Gargano's not really listening. He's like, I gotta go check on Candice and this and that. And then he runs into JBL. This was weird. He's all worried about, I can't talk right now. I gotta go check on my wife. JBL pops up, and he's just like, hey! And he just starts engaging like, screw the wife. You know? Like, screw the wife. JBL and Corbin, go for it.
I thought it was really funny when Miz like handed him the card and Johnny was like, at least sign it or put some money in it. You're
right.
Rich for crying out loud.
So where was I? JBL and Baron Corbin stopped Gargano backstage. JBL called Gargano an internet hero and an independent darling. He said, that's like going and having to spend 10 years in the AAA system. But we didn't have to do that. Yeah, JBL was wrestling in like Japan and stuff before ever going to WWE. I'm pretty sure. Hold on. JBL. Pretty sure he wrestled in Japan and other places before WWE. Yes. JBL wrestled outside of WWE for 4 years before he got signed. He wrestled in Smoky Mountain. He wrestled in Dallas, NWA Dallas. Maybe he didn't go to Japan. I thought JBL went to Japan. CMLL, he wrestled for them. Yeah. See, JBL wrestled on the quote unquote what would now be considered indies. And Corbin didn't. Corbin just went straight to and got signed and went to NXT after playing football. But anyways, JBL told Gargano that when you see a Hall of Famer backstage, you show him respect. You introduce yourself and you shake his hand. Johnny goes, all right, I will show you some respect. Here, shake my hand. And he's like, whatever. And he told Gargano that if this was the Attitude Era, you'd be carrying my bags. Gargano noted, well, in the Attitude Era, I was only 8 years old. So, yeah. Have a good day, Mr. And he looks down and goes, MC Hammer Pants. And I guess that was in a reference to people saying that JBL's pants looked too big on him last week. He also wondered what Corbin's newest name, because first he's like, you know who this is next to me? And he's like, Happy, King, Baron, Boring. Oh, I don't know. You change your name so often. And they're like, you know what? We'll see you in the ring later. And they set up Johnny Gargano versus Baron Corbin. We then got a Bianca Belair Bayley video package. They then congratulated Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on his success with Black Adam being the #1 movie in America, which I don't know if you've seen Black Adam yet, but don't waste your money. Don't waste your money to go see it in theaters.
I mean, I've heard from like other people saying it was like super good. I've heard from other people saying it was bad.
So all I will say was, because I watched it, all I will say was they gave The Rock a lot of leeway with the story to change things up. Because in retrospect, Black Adam is supposed to be a villain to Shazam. Basically, Rock just wanted to work with Superman. The Rock made himself the hero, and then, well, eventually it's probably going to lead to The Rock doing something with Superman. Where it's weird, because they had aspects of Shazam, but no Shazam, when that's the biggest thing of Black Adam is he's one of the biggest villains of Shazam. And they kind of like didn't do anything with that, which is weird.
Shazam kind of felt like a comedy movie to me.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But also with Black Adam, they had a lot of interesting ensemble characters that I felt like didn't do enough with. Like there was a lot of characters here that could have really been used well, and they were all just up. We got to get them on and off screen really quick because here comes Dwayne. Oh, we got to get him on and off screen really quick because we got another stuff more. I get it. He's the star. It's a Black Adam movie. But if they're trying to say that this is the next turning point of the DCEU and that they're building to the next big whatever, this didn't do it because it was basically like, look at me. I'm The Rock and I'm playing Black Adam. I've told you for 10 years. This movie's finally here. Oh, yeah, there's other people in this movie, whatever. So, yeah. Mr. Banks says, so Rock wanted to play a hero when he should be the villain. Now, yes and no. Black Adam, I don't know the full Black Adam backstory, but from what my friend was telling me, because I just know he's been a villain of Shazam. But there's other Black Adam stories. But for the most part, yes, Black Adam's usually the villain. But and then they do it in all comic book stories where sometimes the villain has to help out and be the hero at times. But this is more of The Rock wanting to be, quote, the anti-hero. And he says that many, many times in the movie. I'm not just a hero. I'm more of an anti-hero. So it's like, yeah, you had to harp on that one. Anyways, Omos beat 4 guys at once. A minute and 45 seconds and nothing happened. MVP also cut a promo. I think he talked about Braun, but I really didn't pay attention because it sounded all like the same stuff he always says about Braun. Oh, Braun, you're big, but Omos is bigger. Kid Vicious says, Tim, do you read comic books? Sometimes. More Marvel than DC. And trust me, more Spider-Man than anything because that's my favorite superhero, comic book, whatever. So I read a lot of Spider-Man, I'll tell you that. Then we had Elias and Chad Gable. Match went 9.5 minutes. Pretty good. They made it seem like, they're still playing up the fact that Ezekiel and Elias are not the same person. So they're like, man, what's Elias going to look like when he gets in the ring? He's had ring rust. We haven't seen him in so long. And the match was okay for the opening portions before they went to the break. Otis at one point pulled the ropes down and Elias fell out of the ring. Gable was in control after a break and hit a flying headbutt. Elias made a comeback, but there was another distraction that allowed Gable to apply an ankle lock until Elias slipped out. Gable went for a moonsault, but Elias caught him in midair with a cool-looking knee strike. Elias avoided a charge by Otis, who ran into the ring post and followed this with a drift away and picked up the pinfall victory. So Elias does defeat Chad Gable. So after the match, Otis and Gable attacked Elias, and Riddle would run out to make the save. Riddle cleared the ring and wiped out the Alpha Academy with a dive. Kind of lackluster for Riddle. I don't know why they've got him in this random story. I expect more out of Matt Riddle, to be honest.
I forgot to mention this during their backstage scene.
Mm-hmm.
It almost kind of made it seem like that Elias was going to turn heel and on Riddle.
Oh, when Riddle was hitting the bongos and he pulled the guitar up like he was going to hit him with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I forgot to mention. I didn't write that down. But yes, Riddle's like, hey, I can play with you. And he starts banging on the bongos. And Elias grabs his guitar like he's ready to swing. And then that's when you hear, shoosh, and up comes Alpha Academy. Yes. Good note there. Thank you. OC was shown backstage in the trainer's room. Apparently they all got hit in the balls. Anderson whimpered as he held an ice pack on his groin. We then see AJ Styles say, we got a Rhea problem. Gallows then came in holding his balls and they're like, you get hit too? She hits you in the balls too? Gallows was worried because they all knew he was the best with women. Styles said she body slammed him earlier, and Gallows said that was his love language. I'm like, oh Lord, is Gallows going to start falling for Rhea? Gallows left to smooth things over with her. Anderson was still in pain, but was baffled and said Gallows was the worst with women. Styles told him, keep the ice pack on it. So we got Gallows and Anderson ball jokes already. It's whatever. I mean, I'm surprised it took this long to get Gallows and Anderson ball jokes. Got JBL. He comes out. break. Gallows then limps back into the trainer's room after the break. Gallows said, "Rhea got me too," and he took the ice pack from Anderson and put it on his balls. Styles then said, "Something has to be done." JBL's in the ring, and he's calling the people of North Carolina losers, just like Johnny Gargano. He noted that Gargano was from Cleveland, just like Cleveland's former quarterback, Baker Mayfield, who was now leading the Carolina Panthers to a losing record. He said that North Carolina and the city of Charlotte also turned Michael Jordan into a loser. He said, Charlotte, North Carolina is where dreams go to die. He would then introduce Baron Corbin, the modern day wrestling god. JBL joined commentary for the upcoming match. We have Baron Corbin versus Johnny Gargano. Match went 14 minutes. I would say one of the better Corbin matches because, well, he was in there with Johnny Gargano. So early on, Corbin slammed Gargano onto the announce table. Crowd then chanted, "You can't wrestle," at Corbin moments later before Gargano made a comeback, which included a slingshot spear for a 2. Corbin then hit a follow-away slam for a 2 of his own. Gargano came back with some strikes, but Corbin hit a deep 6 and got a close near fall. Corbin tried the thing where he slips in and out of the ring, but Gargano caught him with a super kick on the way back for a near fall. They fought on the outside of the ring, and Gargano got the upper hand after Corbin went for the steel steps. Gargano stood on the announce table and put on JBL's hat and did a little dance before giving Corbin a tornado DDT. Gargano then feigned giving JBL his hat back, and then he just kept it. That pissed off JBL, who tripped Gargano on the apron. Corbin followed this up with the end of days and did end up beating Johnny Gargano. So Corbin wins the match with, well, more distraction finishes and interferences. 4th one of the night. Jesus freaking Christ.
Where's this JBL and Baron Corbin thing gonna lead?
I have no clue. At least it's something different for Corbin, though. I mean, you at least got to give him that. But where it leads to, I don't know, because it came out of nowhere. I'm like probably most people, shocked when I hear, "Oh, JBL's coming back as a regular on television." What the what? In the back, Kelly interviewed Bianca Belair. Belair said a win tonight would put an end to all of this with Bayley and damage control. She said that a lot of other people, including Candice LeRae, were catching strays, and she needs to put an end to it. Tonight was about payback because Bayley has taken out every single person and everyone that she is friends with. She said she wanted to make sure Bayley left tonight with nothing. Backstage, we got more Miz and Johnny. Miz gave Gargano the get well card you mentioned earlier for Candice on behalf of him and Maurice. Gargano admitted that it was nice of him. Miz wanted them to hash things out, but all Gargano wanted was for Miz to tell the truth. And if Miz didn't next week, Johnny would. Before leaving, Gargano opened the card, and like you mentioned earlier, said, "Hey, you could have at least signed it." He mentioned that Miz was rich and should have put money in it. But I have no clue where this is leading to. And it's like, so are we to believe that Johnny and Dexter are friends and Johnny knows what Dexter... Is this going to lead to Dexter's only been doing all of this to the Miz because Johnny told him to?
I really don't know. I mean, I think it's cool that they added Johnny in here because Johnny's dealt with Dexter back in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the same way Miz is dealing with him. But I don't know. I mean, I could definitely see it being like Johnny's telling Dexter, like, "Hey, why don't you do all this stuff so he can give back Ciampa?"
Right.
But it also made it seem like that Johnny and Ciampa are like still buddies because they were texting each other.
Yeah, I mean, I could honestly see DIY getting back together. I would love to see DIY versus the Usos or DIY versus the New Day. How amazing would those matches be?
That's what everybody wants. Like ever since Johnny came back to WWE, like everybody's been wanting DIY versus the Usos. That's what everybody's been wanting.
Heck, honestly, that would, if they do it right, that'd be the team to beat the Usos for the tag titles. You know how big of a pop that would be? You know how big of a pop that would be?
I'd say book it at WrestleMania.
Right? So next week's Monday Night Raw is the Halloween edition. Now, next week's Raw is Halloween. I'm telling Luke this for the first time as well. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to be able to do a review because the kids want to go trick-or-treating and they want me to go with them. So, I think we might. Do you have any Halloween plans?
Not really, no.
Okay. We might. I don't know what time we're going trick-or-treating is the issue. Regardless, I can watch the show while we're trick-or-treating. I have a friend that already told me he'll take notes for me. He's done it for me in the past. But I just don't know what time we're going to be done. Hopefully we could be done in time and then all good. So next week's Raw review is actually, I should know by midday, like I should know by like before Raw starts if I'll be able to do the review or not. Because I mean, their kids are going trick-or-treating Saturday and Sunday before Halloween too. So maybe we'll do a quick trick-or-treat around the neighborhood on Monday because they're going to a couple different churches to do what they call trunk-or-treating over the weekend.
2 days of trick-or-treating?
Right? Well, so where my ex lives, like 30 seconds down the street is a church. Sunday night, they're doing a big old trunk-or-treat thing. So she's like, I can't not take them. It's literally right there. We can walk. Don't even have to get in the car. So, main event. Non-title match. I don't know how many people, I was telling Luke this before we went live, thought that this match was for the belt, either leading up to it or even still after the show frickin' aired. Why did so many people think that this match was for the title? It wasn't. Jesus Christ. Non-title match, Bayley versus Bianca Belair. This match was awesome. I loved it. I loved this match. The match was excellent. And then we have the whatever Nikki Cross thing at the end. Where, now, maybe I'm in the minority here, but when we saw Nikki fly off the top rope and then onto damage control, I know I'm jumping ahead. This match went 23 minutes. But when we saw Nikki, not knowing it was Nikki at first, jump off this turnbuckle onto damage control, and then we just see her flat on the ground. Right? Was I the only one who almost thought that was Mickie James with the way the hair was and the gear the clothes she was wearing? Where it was the sparkly jacket and the black pants. Was I in the minority there thinking that could have been Mickie James just by the way she looked from behind?
I mean, I can see that it could have been Mickie James, but I knew it was Nikki Cross all along.
Well, see, I was dealing with something else at the moment, so I looked away and then I caught it as she finished the dive. So I never saw her when she was like first diving or any of that. And then when commentary was going, who is that? Who is that? You would think if it was just Nikki Cross, they would have known that's Nikki Cross. Because the way they were like, who is that? Who is that? Who is that? Made me think it was somebody coming back or new or something. But just when I first saw her from like behind laying down on top of Io and Dakota, I was like, is that Mickie James? That can't be Mickie James. As far as the match, go for it.
I don't think Mickie James is signed with Impact, is she?
Not to my knowledge, but she's doing a storyline she's doing the Ric Flair 2008. Next match I lose is the last match of my career. I'll retire next time I get beat. That's what she's doing. So, Bianca versus Bayley match went 23 minutes. And they told a great story in this match. There was a good spot early on where Bianca did a backflip out of the corner, and Bayley responded by running and clubbing her in the face with a forearm. Bayley responded with a backbreaker and a slingshot dive, leading to the break. Bayley was randomly in control after the break and hit a vertical suplex to the outside. Belair then set up for the KOD, but Bayley yanked her arm on the top rope. Belair came back with a vertical suplex, a shoulder tackle, drop kick, corner punches, and a body slam, but Bayley got her knees up on a standing moonsault. Bayley tried a diving elbow, but Belair got her knees up and hit the standing moonsault for a 2. Bayley gave Belair a draping DDT off the barricade, which led to yet another break. Later on, Bayley tried a KOD, but Belair countered it into a Bayley to belly for a very, very close 2. Bayley then tried to use Belair's braid, so Belair yanked her right into the steel steps before hitting a spinebuster for a 2. Belair then went to the top, but Sky got on the apron, and Belair stopped what was about to happen. I don't know exactly what was about to happen. She just tried to distract her, I guess. Bayley used this distraction to hit a Bayley to belly of her own off the middle rope for a near fall. Bayley then instructed Sky and Kai clear the announce desk. Belair clubbed both women with some forearms, then powerbombed Bayley on the desk, and I love it. So she does the powerbomb, and just a reactionary thing, Kevin Patrick goes, she put Bayley through the through the desk. And Corey Graves goes, no, she just powerbombed her on top of it. Because, like, you would think, boom, break the desk immediately. Desk supposed to break. And Corey's like, nope, it didn't break. Belair shoved Bayley into the ring. But as the ref checked on Bayley, Sky and Kai would attack Bianca. The ref then yelled at Sky and Kai and told them both to leave. This is when the mysterious woman we now know is Nikki Cross flew off the top and wiped out all 3 of them with a dive. Belair then countered Bayley's rose plant back in the ring and hit a KOD, but the ref was out and couldn't count. Cross then shoved Belair shoulder first into the ring post and hit her with a swinging fisherman's neck breaker. Bayley crawled over. A new ref came down, Jessica Carr, and Bayley pinned her 1, 2, 3 to pick up the victory. Finally, Corey Graves goes, oh my God, that's Nikki Cross. Nikki then attacks Bayley after the match. Kevin Patrick said he's never seen this unhinged side of Nikki Cross before, where Graves says, oh, I have. And this is going to be a problem. Problem for the rest of the Raw Women's division. And I saw a comment in the chat here. Where was it? Howard Bubba says, hey, Tim, Nikki Cross, new look or old look? New look. She's never had the sparkly jacket, the fancier wavy hair. It's either been that she's just got straight flat hair. Well, yeah, new look. I don't know how to really explain it, but she looked fancier, I guess you could say. I just don't know where it's going.
I know back when she was in NXT, she was part of Sandy, and she
Right.
had that like psycho gimmick. I mean, this could be like she has that like same like gimmick as like Psycho, but like different look.
Right, exactly. They want it to be the old Nikki Cross that everybody loves, but just upgraded a little bit for the quote main roster. So I think that's all it's going to be. It's going to be the same. She's crazy. We don't know what to think of it. She doesn't even know what she's doing kind of Nikki Cross. Whether this is going to lead to her getting a group, whether it's going to lead to her just challenging Bianca for the belt, I don't know. Because now Bayley can go, I pinned Bianca. Give me another title shot. So
first when this happened, I thought, holy crap, they're going to put Nikki in Damage Control.
Well, that's what I thought too. And then she attacks Bayley. That was my first thought as well.
This is what I think. I think like Nikki is probably gonna she's gonna want the belt, but also like take out Bayley. So it's like her allegiance is like with nobody. All she wants is the belt.
Probably. But with that, guys, that is everything we thought of as far as tonight's Monday Night Raw does go. Pretty good show overall, if I do say so myself. But now, I need to hear from you guys and what you guys thought of tonight's Monday Night Raw. So remember to text in to 510-906-1341 to let me know what you thought of the show. Pulling up those text messages now. But before we get to the text messages, and yes, before anybody says it, I forgot the Twitch chat. Sorry, I apologize. But we do have the YouTube and the Twitter poll. Forgot the Twitch poll, not the Twitch chat, whatever. Forgot the Twitch poll. But we do have the other two polls. So as far as the Twitter poll does go, 46% liked the show. That's lower than I expected. 36% thought it was just all right. And 16% did not like Raw. Huh. A lot lower than I expected for that liked it. Now this is about what I thought. As far as the YouTube community poll does go, 65% liked the show. 65% liked the show. 25% thought it was just all right. And 10% did not like it. From the comments here state, what an ending. Wow, holy smokes. This person said, well, this is not WWE related. This person says, Nikki Cross is best one of challengers Asuka had for the NXT championship. Yes, Nikki Cross versus Asuka for the NXT title was a pretty good match. This person said, too much heel winning with a horrid payoff to end the show. I wouldn't call it horrid. I would call it, I don't know where it's leading to, but it could lead to something good because Nikki Cross, crazy Nikki Cross, was never a bad thing. I thought she was always great when she was just psycho. As far as the text messages do go, I don't know what that means. First says, is Bianca defending the Raw Women's Championship at Crown Jewel? As of right now, they haven't announced anything, and I haven't heard anything. First says, what happened to your NXT Halloween Havoc review? Boy, you don't even want to know what happened on my Sunday. Happened where I could not do the review, trust me. This person says, do you think Blair Davenport could be a good Sister Abigail for the Wyatt 6? Why would they need a Sister Abigail? They got Abby the Witch. Any idea what Vince is up to now? Yeah, living his best life, retired. It's not WWE related, but I kind of want to talk about this for a second. Why is Penta getting a world title match that he didn't even earn? Yeah, what the fuck, Tony Khan? Why is Pentagon challenging Jon Moxley on Wednesday for the world title? What? What did he hasn't had a singles match in AEW since June. June. And you're just going to go, Penta, title match. Okay. Yeah, that's why the fucking titles mean nothing in AEW. Because you give random ass title matches, and I'm not calling Penta a random ass guy. I love Pentagon. I think he's amazing. But there's no build. The match was announced, what, Friday, Saturday or something? There's no build to this match. There's no reason Pentagon should get a title match. Like, at least do it as like an eliminator where you go, Penta's going to take on Moxley. And if Penta can beat Moxley, he'll get a title shot. Plus, we all fucking know he ain't winning when they already have it set up. Moxley versus MJF for the title at Full Gear. Like, come on, Tony Khan. Why do you make your titles meaningless by doing stuff like this? Just saying.
It almost feels like a participation trophy.
Exactly. It's like, oh, Moxley's in a match, so it has to be for the belt. No, it doesn't. This ain't the UFC, where every time a champion's in a fight, it's got to be for the title. And in the UFC, when it's a title fight, the challenger had earned the title fight. You dumb fucks. First says, thoughts on Dijak back in NXT? Well, I saw what they did at Halloween Havoc, where he burned the mask. But I'm going to wait on this one. Because who the hell knows what this is going to be. Hopefully he's just Dominik Dijakovic again. And not some random ass character. Because, I mean, well, no, I can't say that because that was a Vince thing, turning T-Bar or turning Mace to Mace. Because I was going to say they could do something stupid with him. So I'm interested because I've always been a Dominik Dijakovic fan. So hopefully he's just Dijakovic, and I don't have an issue with him going back to NXT. I think if you got nothing for somebody on the main roster, but maybe you can slot him somewhere there, at least you're doing something with them somewhere.
Yeah, I think it could be cool. I mean, I loved his matches that he had with Keith Lee.
Oh, yeah.
And like putting him in NXT, like he could do a lot of stuff there. Like
Mhm.
him versus Braun Breaker would be great.
I mean, look what they've done with Apollo Crews. He had a good run on the main roster as a heel Intercontinental Champion. His matches with Big E were great. And then they're like, all right, well, you want to change it up a little bit? Okay, go to NXT. Awesome. 100% right move. And this
And
person's
also like another reason why I like this is because like when he was on main roster, he was known as T-Bar.
right.
Like the past like 2 years, I believe.
At least. I mean, it was sometime in 2020 they did Retribution.
So yeah, like we haven't seen him as like Dominic Dijakovic in a while now.
Mhm.
So this is probably just a way, like, all right, we'll put him back in NXT as like Dominic Dijakovic, to, like hype him up, like remind people like what he's actually capable of as Dominic Dijakovic. And then we can put him on the main roster as him.
Mhm. Reintroduce him
Yeah.
down there. Yeah, I like that idea. You reintroduce him down there. You get everybody to go, oh, yeah, I remember this guy. I remember what he can do. And then eventually he comes back to the main roster. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited if you're watching live, or if you're watching on podcast services or listening on podcast services or watching later on YouTube, whether that's youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited or podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Excuse me. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your Monday night. I got to go run to Walgreens because they fucked up an order I had at the photo center. I got to get there in the next 35 minutes before they close. So I got to head to Walgreens. I'm going to go give them a hard time because they screwed stuff up. But you guys have a good night. See you back here on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. Have a good one, guys.